Who belongs on the Mount Rushmore of superheroes? This has been an ongoing topic and debate that many people have been arguing about it. The superhero genre has grown so much. There's so many big-name heroes to the point where the debate can get very heated. So the truth is, in order to determine who belongs on the Mount Rushmore of superheroes, you need to understand why there's even a Mount Rushmore in the first place. The original Mount Rushmore features 4 presidents, such as George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, and Thomas Jefferson. These 4 presidents were specifically chosen because they symbolized and influenced America the most during its first 150 years in existence. Because that's the main reason why there's a Mount Rushmore of presidents. It makes a lot of sense to treat it the same way when it comes to superheroes. In order to determine who truly belongs on the Mount Rushmore of superheroes, we need to analyze who's been the most symbolic, the most successful, the most influential, the most impactful, and the most consistently dominant superhero. Meaning that we cannot place a random or certain superhero here just because it's your favorite or your childhood, because that'll be considered a wrong list. So before we get started, let's dive into the superheroes who shouldn't belong on the Mount Rushmore. Deadpool. Yes, we completely understand that Deadpool has bloomed into one of the most popular and beloved superheroes today. He's arguably the second most famous member of the X-Men, behind Wolverine. He's grown into a huge success for Marvel as a brand, but his popularity began less than 20 years ago. His fame is way too new-founded, and he's also not considered influential or impactful. He may be one of the biggest superheroes today, but he lacks other statuses that prevents him from qualifications. Iron Man. This one is huge, very huge, because Iron Man is arguably the most successful Marvel character during the MCU at its prime. Iron Man is no questions, one of the most famous and important Marvel characters of all time because he's the main reason why the MCU came into existence. Robert Downey Jr. was truly the one who brought the character to success and became an A-list character. Even though Iron Man has become one of the main faces of Marvel, he unfortunately doesn't qualify for being on the Mount Rushmore since he's also not considered an influential and impactful character. Iron Man was often seen as a C-list character, prior to the MCU. He may be huge today, but his legacy isn't strong enough to qualify. Captain America. This is another big one, because Captain America's legacy is also sort of similar to Iron Man. Even though Captain America was always considered more famous than Iron Man before the MCU, he still doesn't qualify into the Mount Rushmore, since his comic book sales were not very good. He often got overshadowed by other Marvel superheroes, such as Spider-Man, Hulk, X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. Captain America still had a following because he's meant to be an American patriotic hero, but his fame was not widely known around the world. Similar to Iron Man, Captain America's recognition bloomed because of the MCU. He does not qualify into the conversation due to similar reasons as Iron Man. The Incredible Hulk. This one is another big one. Yes, it may sound crazy to say it today, but it is absolutely true that Hulk was undoubtedly one of Marvel's most famous and successful characters before the MCU was made. This one is a strong debate because Hulk actually does have an impact on the superhero genre. He was the first superhero who proved that not every monster giant has to be a villain. But here's the problem with Hulk. Hulk was one of the biggest superheroes in the 1970s to the 1990s, but his popularity and success slowly faded away in the 2000s, particularly the launch of the MCU, truly brought down his fame. It's honestly pretty sad and disappointing, because almost every character in the MCU, such as Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Black Widow, saw a boost in popularity because of the MCU, but Hulk was the only one who saw a downward spiral. His fame got smaller, and as of today, it still remains that way, unfortunately. Due to Hulk's downfall, he does not qualify to be on the Mount Rushmore. But by far, the most successful and famous superhero who unfortunately does not belong on the Mount Rushmore, is indeed, Wolverine. Wolverine is widely considered the second most famous Marvel superhero behind Spider-Man. Wolverine is one of the most common answers to be a part of the Mount Rushmore, because, it is absolutely true, that he does have plenty of strong arguments. He's Marvel's second most successful character, he appears in a lot of movies, and he is the most popular member of the X-Men. His claws is one of the most recognizable weapons in superhero history. Hugh Jackman's performance as the character is very iconic. But here's where Wolverine doesn't qualify. Wolverine is one of the biggest and most beloved superhero ever, but he's not considered a impactful or foundational superhero. He's often viewed as the guy with claws, or the guy from X-Men. No one views him as a symbolic figure to the superhero genre. He's mostly seen as an R-rated and violent character. He's never in the topic of who impacted the genre. He doesn't have a symbolic mark on the media. He's extremely famous and beloved amongst fans, but he's not one who fans view as an impact on the superhero genre. He's often seen more as someone who lived in the influence, rather than starting his own influence. Unfortunately, despite his fame, Wolverine's impact and symbolism is not big enough to qualify into the Mount Rushmore. Now that we finally got through the superheroes who unfortunately doesn't qualify, let's finally talk about the superheroes who does belong on the Mount Rushmore. On the fourth spot, we have Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is the most debatable superhero on the Mount Rushmore, because there's some people who would disagree that she does not belong on there. Many would argue that Wolverine or Hulk deserves the spot more than she does. But if you do actually believe that Wolverine or Hulk belongs on there, instead of Wonder Woman, let me explain why you are incorrect. Wonder Woman may not have as much success as Wolverine and Hulk did when it comes to movies, but not everything is about movies. If you determine your list based on just movies, you are not a true fan of superheroes. You have to dive deep into the comic books, the home of where all of these characters originated from. Wonder Woman is fourth best-selling superhero of all time. She sells much more merchandise and comics than Wolverine and Hulk combined. Her logo and her face is instantly recognizable to the public, and most of all, she's the face of female superheroes. Wonder Woman has demonstrated herself as one of the top 5 most well-known superhero worldwide. She's even able to compete with someone like Spider-Man in some countries. Fun fact, she's even bigger than Spider-Man in some countries in Asia. That alone showcases how big she actually is. She's big enough to be considered one of the big 3 of DC, alongside Batman and Superman. Wonder Woman is the face of female superheroes. She's the reason why female fictional characters were taken seriously. In the era of where most female characters like Snow White and Cinderella were portrayed as princesses, Wonder Woman broke the stereotype, by proving that a female character can lead a superhero comic book. Wonder Woman is the main reason why female fans are able to get into superheroes. She's a pillar to the genre. If you disagree with it, you are not a true fan of superheroes. Every real die-hard fan knows that Wonder Woman has done absolutely everything and has proven she belongs on the Mount Rushmore of superheroes. On the third spot, we have Spider-Man. Spider-Man is no questions, the most famous, successful, and beloved superhero from Marvel. He's a relatable, light-hearted, and fun character to be around. He's the third best-selling superhero, behind Batman and Superman. He's also the third most well-known superhero around the world. Spider-Man is actually seen as a foundational character. He consistently ranks as Marvel's best-selling and most merchandised character. His face is instantly recognizable to the public. He's a superhero that has found great success in a lot of platforms. He's had successful movies, comics, and video games. He doesn't really do that well when it comes to cartoons, but that doesn't erase that he is undeniably the face of Marvel. Peter Parker is a character that fans can connect with, because he's just a teenager, trying to balance teen life with being a superhero. He absolutely belongs on the Mount Rushmore of superheroes. Anyone who argues against him just sounds insane. Spider-Man had proven that he absolutely deserves his place, he'll likely always remain as Marvel's biggest character. On the second spot, we have Superman. Superman is the quintessential superhero. He's the superhero who started it all, the one who brought life to the superhero genre. He has one of the most iconic logos and capes of all time. Superman is one of the top two main pillars of the superhero genre. He's arguably the most iconic superhero ever, he's the prototype to everything, superhero, and most of all, he's the second best-selling superhero ever, and is instantly recognized to the general public. Everyone who sees the iconic S would immediately know that logo belongs to Superman. Superman is highly iconic and influential. He set the standards on how to design and give a superhero powers. He's found success in mostly comics. His live-action movies and TV shows didn't exactly do too well, but it's easy to consider Superman as the one of the biggest superheroes ever, and one of the two pillars of superheroes, alongside Batman. Superman may not have been as dominant as Batman or Spider-Man over the past decades, but his popularity is no questions, still larger than Spider-Man, worldwide. The only superhero who gives Superman competition is Batman. But there is no questions, Superman absolutely belongs on the Mount Rushmore of superheroes. He's the one who started it all and one of the most well-known. On the first spot, we have Batman. Superman may have started the genre, but Batman is the one who revolutionized it the most. Batman has the combination of everything. He's the most famous, beloved, and successful superhero of all time. He's iconic and widely regarded as the best-written superhero ever. He has the most critically acclaimed and well-received stories. Batman dominates in success, recognition, and longevity. He's the only superhero in history who's never fell off the map. There's never a period of time where he disappeared. He remained consistent every era. He's the most merchandised superhero around the world. Batman is everywhere. He has the most worn logo out of any comic book character. Batman is widely considered the best at each platform. Many fans agree that he has the best movies, the best comics, the best animations, the best TV shows, the video games, and the best and most iconic villains. The Joker, alone, is easily the most famous villain in history, which plays into Batman's significance in pop culture. Superman may have been the first to do it, Spider-Man may have caught the younger audience's attention, but Batman is everyone's generation. He's still the most famous superhero of all time. He has the most iconic quotes and scenes. Batman is so beloved and impactful to the point where even Marvel's co-creator, Stan Lee, and Dragon Ball Z's creator, Akira Toriyama, considers Batman the most well-written fictional character of all time. Stan Lee has stated many times that he wished he created Batman. He's a massive fan of the character. Batman is undeniably the biggest superhero ever, hence why he deserves the top spot. He's the only superhero who was worthy enough to have a Lego movie just based around him. That shows how legendary he has become. He's also the first and only superhero to earn a Walk of Fame. Even the creator of Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan, stated that Batman and his villains were the main inspiration for the creation of the Breaking Bad universe. He stated that Walter White was designed and inspired by many Batman villains, such as the Joker and the Riddler. He also got Saul Goodman inspired by Harvey Dent. Vince Gilligan consistently praises Batman and considers him his favorite fictional character of all time. He stated many times that if it wasn't for Batman, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul would have likely never been as brilliant as it was. Batman is the only superhero who has reached beyond just the superhero genre. He's influenced and impacted other genres that aren't even superheroes. There's a reason why so many A-list actors want to play as Batman. Batman is so big and beloved, he's like a gateway to success and critical acclaim. Superman may have started the trend, Spider-Man may have become a famous modern superhero, but Batman is the most consistently famous and most successful superhero. Even still to this day, people look up to Batman as the greatest comic book character of all time. He has earned himself at the top spot on the Mount Rushmore of superheroes.